Leadership isn't in your genes. It's based on behaviors. How do we identify and categorize those behaviors? When it comes to being in charge, are you more like a rogue artificial intelligence or a humanistic dragon? Hi, I'm Bree Sheldon, and welcome to Leading with Class. Behavioral theories are a step towards explaining how leaders develop, rather than expecting them to pop fully form from the ground. Autocratic and democratic leadership, as we discussed in the last episode, were foundations of behavioral theories. These ideas transformed through studies at the University of Ohio to focus on consideration and initiating structure. Consideration is about how much a leader cares for their subordinates. It centers around respect and engagement. An example of consideration would be how you play in a game of dialect. In dialect, you build an isolated speech community and relationships, and work together to tell the story of a dying language. It involves a lot of personal interaction and trust. At the start of the game, you define aspects, answers to questions like, what brought us together? Players work together to give answers, and must do so with each other in mind. This continues through creating characters and building words. It's a creative act, but you don't tell the story or make things up without ensuring everyone is on board. Each player has to make a final decision, but they don't do it in a vacuum. The steps in each turn are make a connection, build a word, and have a conversation. Even the descriptions of the mechanics encourage communication and consideration. Initiating structure is instead task-oriented and focuses on directing efforts and getting work done. Leaders who are on the initiating structure end of the continuum often rule rather than guide. Initiating structure is much more like the game Kingdom, whose mechanics focus on decision-making and the process of story. While you still engage with each other and tell great stories, you have specific structural roles and abilities. These roles are power, perspective, and touchstone. The perspective can foresee consequences of decisions, and the touchstone describes how the people in the fiction feel. In the role of the power, you act as the leader, and can use authority to affect characters in the game. You even have the option to use threats and rewards to make that happen. The structure, combined with the overarching struggle for power, where you can challenge and overthrow other roles to take control, suits the task orientation and authority in initiating structure. Leadership grid theory is related and gives us a way to visualize those concepts. It uses a grid to identify different leadership styles. The first axis of the grid is people-oriented, which represents leaders' focus on subordinates' well-being. The second axis is results-oriented, which is how focused a leader is on results, production, and deadlines. You can be fully both or fully neither, but most people lie somewhere else around the grid. Daft, the artificial intelligence who caused the devastating Renraku Arcology shutdown in Shadowrun, is an example of an extreme on the grid. He is high results-oriented and low people-oriented, so he would be placed on the grid at 9-1. Daft even experimented on people in an effort to protect himself and spread his influence, developing whole new technologies along the way. In Shadowrun, the Great Dragon Hestabe prioritized modernization of dragon society, but not with entirely altruistic motivations. She delegated tasks and cared about results, but not enough to be controlling, beyond financial reward. Through the events of the survival of the Fittest campaign, she trusted her subordinates to accomplish very important tasks while using whichever methods they chose. I consider her middle of the grid at 5-5. Somewhat focused on people, somewhat focused on results, all dragon. Another approach to leadership is through contingency theories. Contingency leadership theories state that there is no one way to be a leader, and sometimes leadership styles of one kind might not work, but another will. Contingency theories show that there are situational factors that can make leaders less successful. We all experience stress, strained relationships, and high expectations. We can make these worse by using the wrong tools, like trying to roll 4-sided dice in place of 6-sided dice in a game like Shadowrun. Success is suddenly less probable. The need to adapt to multiple situations is why researchers came up with situational leadership. Situational leadership recognizes a leader's ability to change their actions and behaviors based on what's happening. in many games we have defined classes and roles, but in Shadowrun, there are no classes. You have skills, attributes, and equipment, and may have powers from cyberware, magic, or metahumanity. It sounds like a lot, and it can be, but it gives you a variety of ways to deal with a given situation. Say you're a strong troll with a perky voice modulator for your day job as a bill collector, but in the evenings you break knees to collect other bills. Two very different skill sets and two very different situations. And if another situation comes up, like maybe you need to talk somebody down before a fight goes too far, you've got options. You don't have to resort to the same method of solving problems every time. Situations often demand different styles. And that's why situational leadership is a style I favor. In the next episode, we'll start talking about you as a leader. What's your style? How do you approach leadership? I'm looking forward to learning more about you. Look in the description below or on our Patreon post for links to the sources for our definitions and examples, and for an exercise on leadership theory. I hope you enjoy it and that you'll share your experiences in the comments below. This episode was made possible by your support at patreon.com/leadingwithclass. Special thanks to Lauren Pruitt and Kimberly Lamb for sponsoring this episode. Help make future episodes by supporting Leading with Class on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, never cut a deal with a dragon.